And welcome once again to Community Viewpoint. I'm John Pollock, your host for this continuing segment. We have with us, the honor to have with us, the folks from the Old Spanish Trail Tacoma chapter.
Old Spanish Trail Association.
Tacoma chapter, which I've been a part of off and on since its inception. Jack Pritchett is next to me, president of the local OST chapter, we call it, Old Spanish Trail. And next to him is Richard Bent, who manages displays and educational material for an event that we're going to be promoting today on the show and throughout the next couple of 3 or 4 weeks in town here, because that's going to be happening in a place called, we all know and love, Tacoma, California, which is maybe 40 minutes away from here, depending how fast you drive. But you just head down to Shoshone, make a left-hand turn, and you're there in no time. So, Jack, what is this all about, and where is it going to be held, and when? Give us the wherewithal and what's happening, if you would, please.
Sure. Well, we're delighted to talk about it. This is the first annual Old Spanish Trail Days. It celebrates the Old Spanish Trail. I'll talk about that in a minute. It'll take place at the Tacoma Community Center. The main day of the program is Saturday, October 20th. Mm-hmm. We're calling it Old Spanish Trail Days because there will be an opening reception on Friday evening, October 19th, and there will be tours at China Ranch on Sunday, the 21st of October. But the main program is Saturday. And the Old Spanish Trail is a big part of the history of this area. It's not that well known. Many of your viewers may know Old Spanish Trail Highway. Uh-huh. It leads from Highway 160, Nevada State Highway 160, across Emigrant Pass over to Tacoma, and it roughly parallels the route of the Old Spanish Trail. The Old Spanish Trail itself got its name in the period between 1829 and 1848. So it's really the 1830s and 1840s when this part of Nevada and California were all part of Mexico. And the trail actually went from Santa Fe, New Mexico, and ended in Los Angeles, California. And those were two remote provincial capitals at the time. Okay. And a trade sprang up between them, and the mule caravans that went single file would carry goods from Santa Fe to Los Angeles. The traders would sell the goods, and then they would take the money, buy horses and livestock from California and mules, and bring them back to Santa Fe and send them at that end of the trail. Later, that mule trail, which the mules went single file.
Right, so this is different than what we're accustomed to. Usually there's the two ruts, but when we're looking at the mule trains, there's just a single file, basically.
That's right, and we will show people that go on our tours actual parts of the mule trace where they can see where 170 years ago mule caravans were going. Later, after the Mexican-American War, when California and Nevada became part of the U.S., wagon trails started following the same route. Mostly they came down from Salt Lake City, and it was then called the Mormon Road because a lot of Mormons came down from Salt Lake City and actually settled the city of San Bernardino. Okay. So they came in wagons, and so in some places the wagon road, two wagon routes that you talked about, runs the same path or went right over the Old Spanish Trail. In other places, and we will show people, they diverged, so you can see each.
Yeah. So yeah, that's interesting. You always think of the double ruts from the wagon trains, but with the Old Spanish Trail, it was started out with the mule, the single file with the mules. And there's a monument basically over on Immigrants Pass too.
Yes, there is a monument that was placed there in the 1960s, and that's one of the spots we will take people. Now, the Old Spanish Trail, the mule trace, is actually designated a National Historic Trail. It's administered in part jointly by the National Park Service and the Bureau of Land Management. So it has quite an important status, and it's an important part of the local history, and this is our chance to introduce it to people. We're going to have a program of speakers and displays. If you'd like, I'll tell you a little bit about the speakers portion of it on Saturday.
Did we show the trail? Did you have that? Yeah, you were showing that? Okay, we don't have a monitor here, but so you're able to see while we were talking.
Yeah,
you know, the
voiceover,
trail.
yeah.
And that it goes south of Pahrump and doesn't come through here. It's
Yes.
at basically the old Spanish Trail where the road is, in that general vicinity.
That's right, yeah. It actually came from Las Vegas, went over the Spring Mountains, came down about where Old Spanish Trail or Tecopa Road takes off,
Right.
and then continued west.
And it was odd that it went over Immigrant Pass rather than around it.
Yeah, well, the mules, we've discovered that they went straight line, and,
Oh, okay.
and they went pretty much from where the road joins State Highway 160, just a beeline for Emigrant Pass.
Not that it's a large high pass or anything,
Yes.
but rather than going around, because I like driving either way.
We don't know quite why that is, and the wagon trail also went over that pass.
Really? I didn't
Yes,
realize that.
It
Oh.
did, and I don't have a good explanation for it. Later, there was a branch of the wagon trail that they called the Kingston Cutoff that did go farther south and avoided Emigrant Pass.
Okay, that's by the Kingston Mines there, probably.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, I made that correlation myself.
So we have a number of speakers, and Richard here can talk a little bit about our program and the displays. So not only will people get to go out on tours and actually visit Resting Springs Ranch, a section of the Mule Trace, and a section of the Wagon Trail, but they'll be able to learn a lot more at our formal program.
Is it because it's in Resting Springs, is it? Resting?
Resting Springs.
Is it better preserved there?
Yes,
Because
it's
it's
private.
private?
It's private land, and so the public would be interested to visit. I never have had the chance to go on myself, so this is my first chance to actually visit
I've been
it.
there already, so I
And
feel
and so
honored.
and there are parts of the trail there, and there are other historic buildings.
Okay,
And
great.
Kit Carson stopped at Resting Springs. So did Colonel John C. Fremont. So real figures, major figures in American history, stopped and camped there.
Oh, great. So what do you have, Richard?
Well, as far as the program is concerned, Jack mentioned John C. Fremont, and Dr. Elizabeth Warren, who is the expert on that, will be giving a talk
Really?
on one of the programs, and that'll be on the history of the trail, and in particular about John C. Fremont.
Oh, cool.
And so we're very excited about that. Another part of the program, which will take place again on Saturday, is threats to the trail. And that talk is going to be given by Jack Pritchett, who's right here.
Oh, we know some of the threats, yeah.
And John Hyatt. And there are definitely threats to the trail, and Jack is the expert on that. And also there will be on the program General Ashley Hall. And General Hall is going to give a talk on the Mormon Battalion. And as we know, the Mormon battalions came down through San Bernardino and actually down as far as Southern California. And then to support these, we'll have some very interesting displays set up in the Tecopa Community Center. And we have displays from the Bureau of Land Management. And they will be providing a number of different displays, both historical as well as displays from indigenous population. And we'll also have some displays from the Desert Research Center. And those I'm sure will be very interesting. And then let's see, then we also will have some displays on fauna and flora of the local area.
Okay.
And so
Teach us how to make some of that Mormon tea. That's really bad.
Let me add one comment here too. This is a family event. We're billing it that way. Children are $5. The registration fee is adults $20, couples for $30, and children $5 each. And we've got a special children's program. The adults will listen to the talks that we're talking about, but we're going to have a special annex and a children's program taught by a retired school teacher who specializes in this. There will be coloring books, pin the tail on the old Spanish Trail donkey.
Okay, it's a tongue twister.
Though it's a mule.
Yeah. And that's going to be on Thursday for
No,
the kids?
that's on Saturday.
That's Saturday?
Yeah, while the adults are watching the
Okay,
program,
Saturday.
their children can be in the children's program.
Okay, so let's not forget to, in order to get more information for this, you go up to www.oldspanishttrail.org/OST days. It doesn't matter if it's capitalized, I'm sure. We're called the Tacoma Hot Springs Resort. Called Amy down there?
Yes.
Okay. She's the executive director of the Death Valley Chamber of Commerce. She's at 760-852-4420. So Old Spanish Trail Days, Tacoma, in October 19th to the 21st. We have the community center, if you know where the stop sign is in Tacoma at the hot baths area, you're at the community center, and that's where the brunt of everything's going to be happening. Western style barbecue Saturday evening. Tours to the trail sites, including historic resting springs, family fun for games and with games and learning for the kids, displays, educational materials. So come on down. There's plenty of time. You can find out more about it. It'll be nice and it'll be cooler than it is now. It'll be a perfect time of the year. So once again, 760-852-4420. That's Tacoma Hot Springs Resort. Amy Noel is out there, and she's the executive director to the Death Valley Chamber of Commerce. Once again, you can Google oldspanishttrail.org/OST days to find out more information. Got anything else before we leave?
Just we're delighted to get this thing kicked off. It's 3 weeks after your fall festival here in Pahrump, and it'd be a great segue, and you'll get a chance to learn more about your local history.
And you might want to mention the advanced registration.
Yeah, Richard is right. We have online registration. You can register with a card, a credit card, at that site, and we encourage people to do it. The community center only holds 150 people, and we're expecting a full crowd. So those who register first will have to cut it off at 150 people.
Oh, that's very good to know. Okay. And there's camping over there. You can call them Inyo County campgrounds. The gentleman was asking me yesterday at the museum. I don't have their number here, but I'm sure it's you can Google it, it's in the book. There's campsites there, you can bring your RV. There's a couple of 3 resorts over there. There's a hostel and bed and breakfast out there, so you have your choice of different types of venues to sleep in, sleep at, sleep wherever you want, under the stars if you want to. Yeah, there's plenty of time, so if you're a history buff, you want to find out why we're here and what led up to it, the Old Spanish Trail Days is a good way to find out a lot about the history of the area. We still have a few more seconds. Anything else that we might have missed? Going. That's it. So thank you very much. Thank you, Chad. Thank you very much for watching. Remember to tune in next week. Thank you.